Welcome to AI Unraveled, your daily briefing on the real-world business impact of AI. Before we start, let's talk about where you're putting your marketing dollars. Stop marketing to the general public. Talk directly to enterprise AI builders. Your platform solves the hardest challenge in tech, getting secure, compliant AI into production at scale. But are you reaching the right 1%? AI Unraveled is the single destination for senior enterprise leaders, CTOs, VPs of engineering, and MLOps heads who need production-ready solutions like yours. We've reserved a limited number of high-impact, mid-roll ad spots for companies focused on high-stakes, governed AI infrastructure. This isn't spray-and-pray advertising. It's a direct line to your most valuable buyers. Don't wait for your competition to claim the remaining airtime. Secure your high-impact package immediately. Email us today at info@djamgatech.com. Back to AI Unraveled.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. This is where we take all that noise, all the information coming at us about tech, and try to find the signal.
That's right.
And today, we're doing a really specific snapshot. We're looking at artificial intelligence, basically where things stand right now, October 10th, 2025.
Yeah, and it's quite a pile of source material we've got. We're really trying to connect the dots across like 4 key areas.
Okay.
We're talking the big picture economy stuff, how consumers are adopting this tech, the friction, the politics around hardware, and even how AI is showing up in, major world events happening right now.
So that source material, our AI daily rundown, it seems to be painting this really interesting picture. Lots of contradictions, right? Like huge amounts of money pouring in. But at the same time, a lot of people seem really skeptical. And then there's this whole fight over who gets the best computer chips.
Exactly. So our mission today really is to synthesize all that for you, cut through the chaos a bit. We want to figure out where the actual value is being created, and maybe just as importantly, where the hidden risks might be lurking.
Because the speed is just incredible.
It really is. And maybe the best place to start understanding this is, well, follow the money. The sheer economic weight of AI right now is something else.
Okay, let's do that. The money. Because some of these numbers about the U.S. economy are, frankly, kind of staggering. We found this claim that AI infrastructure investment is like almost the only thing driving real growth.
It sounds like hyperbole, I know, but the data seems to back it up. If you actually sort of pull out the investment in information processing tech, building data centers and all that, the analysis suggests U.S. annualized GDP growth in early 2025 would have been just 0.1%.
0.1. So basically flatlining the entire U.S. economy, flat, without this specific tech spending. So, okay, we know where the money isn't coming from, but who exactly is doing all this spending? Which part of the tech world?
It's overwhelmingly the hyperscalers. The big cloud companies, your Googles, Amazons, Microsofts, they're the ones running the massive data centers and the really large AI models.
Right.
And if you connect this to the bigger picture, you see them pouring nearly $400 billion a year into capital expenditures. Just on data centers.
$400 billion.
Yeah.
Annually.
Yeah. And that huge investment, just that spending, is now adding 1 full percentage point to America's real GDP growth.
1%, just from building digital warehouses.
Exactly. It's huge. And here's the really surprising part, maybe. For the first time, the actual dollar value generated from building these AI data centers has become a bigger driver of economic expansion than consumer spending.
Wait, really? Bigger than people buying stuff?
That's what the data suggests. It's kind of flipped the usual economic model on its head. Manufacturing, other traditional sectors, they're sluggish. But building the physical stuff for AI, the data centers that's now pulling the economic train more than the average consumer is, its growth completely centered on building AI capacity.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit and shift gears.
Yeah.
We see the huge investment in the buildings, the infrastructure. But is that translating into, actual productivity inside companies?
That's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? And it feels like the conversation has shifted really fast. It's not just who's got the smartest AI model anymore.
Right.
Now it seems to be much more about whose AI can actually remove the most friction from how people work.
Friction removal. Right?
Exactly. The goal isn't really standalone apps anymore. It's about embedding these AI agents, these assistants, directly into the tools people already use every day. Seamless integration.
And we saw some big moves there just recently.
Yeah, two major ones this week. Google rolled out its unified platform, Gemini Enterprise, and then Amazon's competing with their Amazon Quick Suite.
Gemini Enterprise. What's the focus there? Making it easy for businesses.
Scale and accessibility, definitely. And the key thing, I think, is that they're saying employees can build and manage their own little AI agents for specific tasks.
Without knowing how to code?
Right. No coding required. That's the big selling point for broad adoption inside a company. It's, what, $30 a month per user for the main enterprise tier.
Okay.
And it comes with pre-built assistants for common stuff like research or customer service, and it hooks securely into the company's own data.
So the real takeaway here for you listening is this battle isn't just about cool tech demos. It's about who can become indispensable, like part of the company's operating system.
Absolutely. It's about owning the workflow.
Not just an add-on.
Right. And if you want a sign of how deep this is already running, especially with the next generation, look at this stat from Morgan Stanley.
Oh yeah, this was wild.
96% of their interns said they basically can't do their jobs effectively now without using AI tools.
96%. Not it helps, but can't work without it.
Exactly. That tells you Wall Street's future workflow is already AI first. It's becoming the default expectation. Hashtag tag 3. Consumer acceleration and the hardware frontiers.
That leads perfectly into the consumer side because the speed there is just, it's almost hard to keep up with. The adoption rate seems even faster than the enterprise investment we were just talking about.
Oh, absolutely. The speed at which new consumer AI apps are going viral is just phenomenal. It really feels like an acceleration spiral.
Take OpenAI Sora, the video generator. It hit 1 million downloads faster than ChatGPT did.
Which was already record-breaking.
Exactly. And the crazy part is, Sora was still technically invite-only when it did that.
Yeah, the numbers were, what, on iOS alone, something like 627,000 installs in the first week, just edging out ChatGPT's launch week.
Incredible demand. And this speed isn't just in software, right? We're seeing it in physical hardware, too, like robotics.
Definitely. Look at Figure AI's humanoid robot, the Figure 03. The videos are pretty impressive. It's doing complex stuff around the house now, folding clothes, tidying up.
And I saw the bit about loading a dishwasher.
Yeah.
That seemed like a big step up.
It is. And notice the detail. It rinses the dishes first, then carefully loads them. That takes a lot of coordination, vision, and fine motor control.
So how are they achieving that? What's the tech breakthrough there?
Well, they've apparently moved to their own internal AI system called Helix, replacing the OpenAI models they used before. That allows for faster, more complex, real-time actions.
Okay.
But maybe the cleverest bit is actually a hardware tweak. They put a tiny camera in the palm of the robot's hand.
Yeah, the palm, why?
It gives the AI really close-up visual feedback for grasping things. So even if the main cameras in its head are blocked, like if it's reaching into a cupboard.
It can still see what its hand is doing.
Precisely, allows it to keep working accurately. Smart design.
Very. Okay, moving to the, let's say, more extreme end of personal hardware. Neuralink's brain chip, the N1. The demand seems off the charts.
It's intense. Sources say 10,000 people have formally put their hands up wanting the implant.
10,000. But only a handful actually have it so far.
Right, only about 12 have the implant currently, though they're aiming for maybe 25 by the end of this year.
And the big deal isn't just connecting your brain to a computer, it's the speed, right?
That seems to be the key differentiator they're pushing. They claim the latency, the delay between thinking something and the computer responding is 10 times faster than your normal brain-to-muscle signal.
10 times faster. So it would feel almost instantaneous, like an extension of your own thought.
That's the goal. That seamlessness probably explains that huge demand. And interestingly, they thought ahead about scaling this up. They actually built their own specialized surgical robot right from the start.
To do the implant surgery.
Yeah. They're anticipating a bottleneck, a shortage of neurosurgeons qualified to do this years down the line. So they built the machine to address that from day one, very vertically integrated. Hashtag tech baby BV. The trust gap and geopolitical friction. Okay, so we pull back for a second and synthesize this. We've got this massive economic engine firing up, huge investment. It's an incredibly rapid consumer adoption, people jumping on new apps, robots, even brain chips. But this is all happening against this backdrop of really significant public skepticism.
Yeah, that tension seems to be widening, doesn't
But
it?
it really does. The Reuters survey data we looked at paints a really clear picture of this contradiction. People are using AI tools way more. Weekly usage habits nearly doubled.
Okay, so usage is up.
But the trust, especially in institutions using AI, just isn't there. And how people are using it is shifting slightly too.
How so?
Info seeking, using AI for search or summaries is now the top use case. About 24% of users reporting that, just slightly ahead of content generation at 21%.
Interesting. So using it more like a research assistant.
Kind of, but here's the trust gap made plain. Only 12% of people feel comfortable with news that's fully generated by AI.
Only 12%? Wow.
Yeah, and a big majority, 62%, say they still prefer news that's entirely written by humans.
So people like AI for certain things.
Right. The survey shows positive feelings about AI in health, science, search results. Apparently, search summaries affect 54% of users now. But sentiment turns negative when you ask about AI in news and politics.
So that's the core tension right there. We love the personal tool that makes our life easier.
Exactly. Helps me find info faster, summarize this document.
But we see that exact same technology as a potential threat when institutions we rely on, like news organizations, use it. We don't trust their use of it.
Perfectly put. We trust the personal efficiency, but we deeply distrust the institutional integrity when AI is involved. And while we're grappling with this internal trust issue,
the fight over the actual computer chips needed to run all this AI is heating up globally.
It really is. The geopolitical friction is getting tighter.
What are the latest developments on that, the sort of chip trade war?
Well, the crackdown seems to be escalating, especially at Chinese ports. Their cyberspace administration is coordinating inspections of hardware coming in.
Looking for specific chips.
Yeah, they're explicitly trying to stop imports of the high-end Nvidia processors, the H20, the RTX 6000D, the stuff you need for serious AI training.
So going right after the most powerful gear.
Directly. And they're not just looking for official shipments. They're targeting what they call the gray market pipeline, basically. Smuggled or repurposed older high-end ships like the A100s and H100s.
Trying to shut down all avenues.
Seems like it. And meanwhile, back here in the U.S., the Commerce Department is looking into Nvidia, apparently investigating a $2 billion shipment they made to a Chinese firm called Megaspeed.
Checking for potential export violations.
That's the focus. So yeah, the global tension over who gets the best silicon is definitely starting to bite into supply chains.
Okay, so we have the money, the corporate adoption, the consumer rush, the trust issues, the global chip fight. What does this all mean when things get really serious? Not just in a business plan, but during, a major global event or a crisis.
That's where you really see AI moving beyond just being a tool and becoming almost a co-pilot for managing complex, high-stakes situations in real time.
A co-pilot. Interesting.
Yeah, we found two really compelling case studies from just this week showing how AI is being layered on top of traditional response systems, basically acting as a force multiplier when things are moving fast.
Okay, case study 1. The big earthquake in the Philippines, magnitude 7.4, plus a major aftershock. How did AI fit into the response there?
In several critical ways, mostly focused on speed and better information. First, aftershock forecasting. They used AI, likely statistical and machine learning blends to constantly update probability maps. That helped guide where to set up safety zones where the risk was highest next.
Giving them faster intel for safety decisions.
Exactly. Second, damage assessment. They used AI to accelerate the creation of shake maps. It combined official sensor data with things like citizen videos and even data from smartphone accelerometers showing sudden spikes.
Using the crowd's data.
Yeah, as a proxy for damage, basically giving first responders a much quicker, though maybe rougher, idea of where the worst impact was, faster than waiting for engineers to survey buildings.
Okay, makes sense. And it's a coastal area, so tsunamis are a huge risk.
Critical. And here, they apparently used newer AI models, Merle surrogates they call them, fed with real-time data from wave gauges. The claim is these models gave inundation estimates predicting how far inland the water would go seconds or even minutes earlier than older methods.
Seconds matter hugely in a tsunami warning.
Absolutely. Every second counts. And finally, crisis communications. Using generative AI for rapid translation of official warnings into multiple local languages, plus classifiers to automatically identify and downrank misleading or miscaptioned video clips that always surface during chaos.
So helping manage the information flow and combat misinformation. Really practical stuff.
Life-saving stuff, potentially.
Okay, second case study. Very different context. High-profile politics, the awarding of the Nobel Peace Prize to María Corina Machado. How is AI used there?
Here, it was more about protecting information integrity and understanding the narrative landscape. For instance, newsrooms reportedly used advanced AI tools, deepfake detectors, audio clone identifiers as part of their forensic process.
To verify things.
Yeah.
Like speeches or videos.
Exactly. To try and authenticate recordings, guard against fabricated content designed to maybe discredit her or inflame tensions. Basically an AI shield for truth and safety.
And also used for analysis. Understanding how the story was being told.
Right, something called narrative mapping.
Right.
Using natural language processing, AI scanned decades of news coverage to quantify how her story, her portrayal, shifted over time and differed between countries.
To spot biases or maybe propaganda efforts.
Precisely. To expose those kinds of information imbalances or deliberate framing campaigns. And related to that, civil society groups were using AI risk scoring tools to track reports of arrests or harassment patterns against activists or supporters, linking entities and events to build a clearer picture of civic pressure in real time.
Documenting potential repression. And what about managing the sheer volume of news and opinion around such a big event?
That's the final piece. Using large language models, LLMs, to help people navigate it. They could get summaries of legitimate news coverage about the prize and Machado, while the same systems worked behind the scenes to identify and essentially throttle coordinated campaigns, like state-sponsored media trying to flood the zone with negative spins. So amplifying credible info, dampening the propaganda, #tag outro. So when you put it all together from this deep dive, what really stands out is this set of intense, almost conflicting forces all hitting at once.
Yeah, feels really dynamic.
You've got this absolutely massive, almost unavoidable economic investment pushing AI forward. You have explosive consumer uptake. People are grabbing these tools and running with them. But that's crashing right into this deep, persistent public distrust, especially when powerful institutions use the tech. And layering over all of that is this growing geopolitical fight over the hardware itself, which could, throw a wrench in the whole works.
It really is a delicate balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
High speed, high stakes, high skepticism, all at the same time.
Yeah.
And maybe here's the final thought for you to wrestle with, something from the research pile that really stuck with me. It kind of challenges the stability of these huge AI systems we've just been talking about.
Oh.
What's that? It's from Anthropic. Their research found that you might only need as few as 250 carefully crafted, sort of poisoned documents mixed into the training data to successfully create a backdoor, a hidden vulnerability in a large language model. And here's the kicker. It works on models of any size.
Any size. So it doesn't matter how huge the model is, a small amount of bad data can compromise it.
That's what they found. It kind of disproves that old idea that you needed proportionally more bad data to fool bigger models.
Wow. That really ups the ante on making sure the data going into these things is clean, doesn't it? Because the vulnerability isn't about scale, it's about precision.
Exactly. It just reminds us that beneath all the incredible power, all the investment, all the hype, there's this potential fragility. And maybe that fragility, that vulnerability to manipulation is one of the biggest risks we need to keep a close eye on.
A sobering thought to end on.
Definitely something to keep exploring.
Yeah.
We need to understand both the immense potential and these inherent risks. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
We'll catch you on the next one.
That's it for today's deep dive. We hope you walked away with actionable insights for your enterprise strategy. Before you go, let me remind you of the unparalleled value of this platform. AI Unraveled delivers deep, uncompromised technical insight that keeps our audience, senior enterprise leaders, tuned in to the very last minute. That sustained attention is the best place for your ad. This is your opportunity for a direct line to your most valuable buyers, the CTOs, VPs of engineering, and MLOps heads who sign off on high-stakes infrastructure. Stop wasting budget on general marketing noise. Secure your high-impact premium ad campaign right here. Email us today to reserve your mid-roll package. info@djamgatech.com. Thank you for listening to AI Unraveled. We'll be back tomorrow with more.